Our campus launched 2 years ago and then relaunched a little over a year ago after COVID-19 caused us to go obviously out of St. Cloud Elementary, if you were here at the time. And during that season, we were regrouping and praying and thinking, we just launched a church, a new campus, a satellite campus of Celebration Community Church, and we did so 6 months before a pandemic. I mean, if you could have known, we would have said, let's give it a couple years and pray and just put all that time into planning. But God was sovereign, because in the last year, amazing things have happened. The last year brought numerous challenges, not the least of which was this moving target that is, where are we going to be each week? The lakefront was pretty steady for us, you remember, but we've been around many different venues, and a couple months ago in September, we had to go to the middle school for a month, and we've had some challenges, but God has poured out innumerable spiritual blessings this year, salvations and baptisms, new life groups, more than 60 people joining the volunteer team in less than 30 days when we were getting ready to move indoors. Imagine that, 60 people joining the volunteer team in that short amount of time. Reconciled marriages and discipleship everywhere you look, which is, it's our objective, making more and better, new disciples, new followers of Christ, and better followers of Christ, more obedient followers of Christ. That's the Great Commission, and we've seen that happening, which means that's evidence that the Spirit is among us. We're not going by our own power, but the Spirit is moving and guiding His people along, as He did in the olden days. Isn't that amazing? He's still at work today. This year brought so many other blessings, financial blessings. Our giving has been amazing. We've paid our own bills this year. The Celebration Campus, that's amazing, right? The Celebration Campus, when they launched us, they put down $125,000 a year, a commitment to pay my salary, to pay all the ministry needs, the rental costs of this church, and everything, all of the above. And that was a cost they were willing to commit until the Lord raised up leaders and raised up a church and built a church that could be self-sustaining. And we were thinking maybe we'd pay our own bills in 2023. Let that register. That's amazing. God has done so much, and we're a completely self-sustaining campus in that way. We have our own leaders. We have a rotation of preachers. When so many church planters feel like they're the one who has to preach 52 times a year, I don't need to put that kind of mental wear and tear on myself, which hurts my ability to love you, by the way, and shepherd you and care for you and visit you in the hospital if we get back to the day and age where you can actually do that again, I hope. But God has poured out immense kindness on His people, and the Celebration Campus that planted us has taken note of that as well. And the leaders of both campuses agree that our campus is at a juncture where we have the ability now to regroup and launch to new heights. And what that means is that the elders and the leadership here have agreed collectively that it's a good time for us to become an autonomous church, our own church. And with that will come a number of changes, but this will happen over a period of 5 months between now and Resurrection Sunday. There's a lot of administrative changes to occur, and what that'll mean is a lot of the things about how we worship will all stay the same because we're still the same people, but you will see a few changes. We're going to have a new name out from under the umbrella of Celebration Community Church. We'll have our own elder board here of people that the partners of CCC will elect. This is exciting. This is really, really exciting. This news comes with the responsibility of, like I said, electing elders, renaming ourselves, and looking into the future together, and now launching into that future together. I'm a church planter at heart, so this excites me. It's good confirmation that what God put in my heart and Melanie's heart back in 2012 is coming to fruition. It's just a natural progression. And long ago, Pastor Greg and I hoped it would get here. We didn't know, because only the Lord knows, but we said maybe one day it would just get so successful and giving will be so great and there'll be so many people and life groups and participation and service and all the things that a healthy church is marked by, that naturally we'll say, it's a church of its own. That's where we are. That's really incredible. So this is a win-win situation. It also affords us the opportunity to now pivot and think as a church of our own, which means we gain new responsibilities like being a church that plants other churches. And Greg and I have already sat down and dreamed about, now we're sister churches. That means we can go all in together on a portion of both of our budgets and a portion of both of our people to go launch a third church and other churches. Because that third church will be a church that plants churches, you see, and it'll grow and hopefully just have a network within Converge where we are. We're a Converge church, but within Converge, a system of like-minded churches that plant churches. That's an amazing thing. And all have the same intent to reach Osceola County, to reach Central Florida with the gospel. This plan is a win-win change. So, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, ask the leaders here at the St. Cloud campus. There's staff members who'd love to talk to you, pastoral advisory team members who would love to be a sounding board for you. And most of all, come to the informational meeting. That's why we're having one, because this is a big change. So we're going to have an informational meeting after this service. And partners, you're required. That's a lowercase r, I get it. But partners, you're required because we need you. We have to immediately start making some big decisions that we need you to be involved in. And then everyone is welcome, by the way, to hear what the Lord is doing. And you want to know about a church, come to their business meeting. And you'll see how they operate, right? So this is going to be an exciting meeting. You're welcome to stay at that. And most of all, let's all ramp up our prayer support. Ramp up your prayer support toward this end, that as we become an autonomous church here in St. Cloud, God would just continue to lead us. This didn't come out of left field for him. The elders of both, of the elders at the main campus and the staff here all believe, yeah, this is God at work. This is the Lord's leading. So we want you to sense that. So we want you to seek him, ask him, and then say, Lord, okay, what does this mean for me? What are you telling me to do? How do you want me to support, beyond prayer, this growing mission in St. Cloud? So that's the announcement. Yeah.
In the 2 years since we launched our campus in St. Cloud, we have experienced a ride that we never could have imagined. Despite all the challenges and the complications that were brought on by COVID, God has seen fit to establish a growing fellowship of believers who share our common convictions. Forced to move to the lakefront when the schools closed meant transitioning from a video venue, which is the way it was originally, to a live preaching team, which is great in a lot of ways. God raised up a solid group of teachers for St. Cloud. They're now meeting in the community center there, and there is a healthy percentage of people engaging in life groups, which is a very important sign. And their giving has now more than covered all expenses associated with starting the campus there. So, given these positive signs, the elders, in consultation with Pastor Mike and some of the leaders there in St. Cloud, and through much prayer, have decided that we're going to transition the work in St. Cloud from a campus to an autonomous church. And we're going to do that between now and Resurrection Weekend. And we believe that this is going to allow us to continue partnering with them in all the ways that we have before. And at the same time, it will let St. Cloud raise up its own elders and take full responsibility for moving this new church forward. I mean, this really goes in line with kind of where I come from. I'm a church planter, and so I'd love to see this thing take root and grow and bear more fruit than ever, but we've seen amazing signs of God's work and grace there, and that's why we're able to take a step like this. In fact, we would love to see more and more churches planted all throughout Central Florida. I mean, everywhere you go, you see developments and building and whole new neighborhoods just that weren't there just a little while ago. And we need churches to reach these people and to bring glory to Christ. And so our desire would be that taking this step would lead to partnering with St. Cloud to plant more churches throughout Central Florida and eventually maybe have a whole network, kind of a sub-network within Converge of churches that share common distinctives. It's really as we see it, a win-win situation all around. If you have questions about this, feel free to talk to me or talk to our elders or Pastor Mike. But what I want to ask you to do is to join me in ramping up all of our prayer support for St. Cloud right now as we transition over the coming 5 months and then see what God's going to do there. So this is really, we see it as a step forward, not a step back. And really, in the providence of God, that's what really brought this all about. It kind of changed the venue and the relationship, and increasingly they became more independent. They didn't, we still hold all the same common distinctives, and we'll still partner in every way we have been. But anyway, I just wanted to share that good news with you. And I also wanted to thank you for your faithfulness in giving that makes initiatives like this possible. So praise the Lord.